We'll continue discussing Richard's approaches to curriculum design. As you know, we have already talked about forward design. We have discussed how it's been reflected through language teaching in various forms. And now we will begin with, how central design actually is reflected in its various shapes and forms through language teaching, right? And what are the characteristics by which we can, um, uh, by which Richards classifies this as central design, right? Okay. Well, before we discuss, uh, central design and its representation in language teaching, it's important to understand its practical manifestation, what implications are involved in terms of its practicality. Well, practically speaking, uh, you know, having central design, we need to ensure that we have, you know, a range of facilities, a range of expertise in terms of we've got teachers who are well trained and they have professional knowledge about language teaching. They have specialized expertise in language teaching, and their proficiency in language teaching is at utmost level where they meet the needs of the students. Right. Well, how central design is reflected in language teaching? Well, the answer is there has been a quest for methods. There has been a search for appropriate methods for language teaching, and we have already discussed how earlier on teaching was fixated around methods. If a teacher is well equipped with methodology or methods, they can do well, deliver well in the classroom. So that this led to the rise of novel methods. By novel methods, I mean the use of communicative language teaching, and then we've got some earlier versions of communicative language teaching approach. So the novel methods actually in the form of audiolingualism, these were the earlier uh, categories falling in the category of communicative language teaching approach, audiolingualism or silent way. They reflected central design, and they focused. The main emphasis was introducing processes of language teaching, and decisions about input, linguistic input, could be decided later on. So that was primarily a topic-based approach through which language teaching was carried out, right? And the role of teacher, how it's been reflected. We see, like as Richard argues, the teacher was seen as facilitator who could help students maximize learning in the classroom. I mean, there was clear description to what extent teachers should talk in the classroom and to what extent students can participate in the classroom in order to make the learning happen in an effective way. All right. So there are various examples by which we can better say how central design was reflected through language teaching. So firstly, it has been represented through task-based language teaching approaches, and as we have already discussed, task-based language teaching approach has got various versions. There are task-based version, and there is task-informed version. And well, the central design in terms of its representation through task-based learning, mainly how it's been represented through pedagogical tasks. By pedagogical tasks, I mean to say to bring in the tasks in the classroom which could help students gain some pedagogical knowledge of the language. I mean the grammar skills, or the mechanism of the language overall. Right. So this pedagogical tasks mainly focused on enhancing students' communicative competence. CC here stands for communicative competence, making them competent to understand the strategic, socio, um, socio-cultural aspects of language use. Right. So post method was another sort of approach which represents a central design approach to language curriculum design. And post method actually specifies no specific methodology for language teaching. Rather, it emphasizes on teachers' individual conceptualization of language teaching, how teachers see language teaching. And post method actually lays emphasis on no method is good or bad, rather it's the context which actually determines or the contextual needs of the students or their variables determine efficient or effective language teaching. So in brief, central design in language teaching has been uh, reflected through various movements. Let me say just some various thoughts. Primarily, it was language teaching and its various forms, and then there has been a dogma approach, and there has been post method approach.